90% of people who start investing lose money in their first year. Not because the market is rigged, not because they're unlucky, but because nobody told them these 6 things before they hit that invest button. If you're thinking about investing even $1, stop scrolling, because in the next few minutes, I'm going to save you from the mistakes that cost most beginners thousands of dollars. Hey, welcome back. Look, investing looks simple from the outside. You put money in, it grows, you get rich. That's the fantasy everyone sells you. But the reality, investing without the right foundation is like driving a car with your eyes closed. You might get lucky for a mile or two, but eventually you're going to crash. Today, I'm breaking down exactly what you need to know before you invest a single dollar. The stuff financial advisors don't explain in 5 minutes, and the stuff that separates people who build wealth from people who lose their savings. Let's get into it. Look, knowing this stuff puts you ahead of 90% of people who jump into investing blind. But this is just the beginning. If you're serious about actually building wealth, not just guessing your way through it, hit subscribe. Because every week, I break down exactly what the finance world doesn't explain simply enough. Your future self is going to thank you for staying. See you in the next one. Let me picture a friend, Sarah, who opened a trading app one random Tuesday night, dropped $500 into a stock her coworker mentioned, and had absolutely no idea why she was buying it. 2 months later, she panicked and sold at a loss. Here's the thing though, Sarah's mistake wasn't picking the wrong stock. Her mistake happened way before that. The moment she skipped one simple question. That question is, why am I actually investing this money? I know, it sounds almost too basic to matter. But stick with me here, because this one question is the difference between people who build real wealth over time and people who bounce around from one investment to another, confused and frustrated, wondering why nothing seems to work. Think of your why as the destination you type into a GPS. If you don't know where you're going, it doesn't matter how good the car is or how fast you drive. You're just going to end up lost. Investing works exactly the same way. Are you investing so you can retire comfortably in 30 years? Are you saving for a house in 5 years? Or are you trying to build an emergency cushion for the next 2 years? Each of those goals needs a completely different approach. Here's a simple way to picture it. Let's say you're saving for a house you want to buy in 3 years. That money probably shouldn't be sitting in something that swings up and down wildly. Because if the market dips right when you need to buy that house, you could be forced to sell at a bad time. But if you're investing for retirement 30 years from now, short-term ups and downs matter a lot less because you have time on your side to ride out the bumps. This is why so many beginners feel overwhelmed. They open an investing app, see 100 different options, and freeze, because they're trying to choose a path without knowing their destination. Once you nail down your why, suddenly everything gets simpler. Your timeline becomes clear. Your risk comfort becomes clear. Even the type of account or investment that fits your situation becomes so much easier to figure out. And here's something people rarely talk about. Your why also becomes your motivation on the hard days. Markets go through rough patches. That's just a normal part of investing. But when you know exactly why you're doing this, whether it's your kids' education, your future retirement, or simply your own peace of mind, it's a lot easier to stay calm and stick to your plan instead of panicking and making an emotional decision. So before you download another app or watch another top stocks to buy video, pause for a second and ask yourself that one question: what am I actually investing for? Write it down if you have to. That single sentence is going to guide almost every financial decision you make from here forward. And it's the real foundation everything else in this video is going to build on. Picture this. A guy named Marcus puts $3,000 into the market, feeling proud of himself for finally adulting with his money. 2 months later, his car breaks down and the repair costs $800 he doesn't have sitting in his bank account. What does he do? He pulls money out of his investments right when the market happens to be down. He didn't just lose on the car repair. He locked in a real loss on his investments too, all because life happened at the wrong time. This is exactly why, before you invest a single dollar, you need something in place first: an emergency fund. Here's the simplest way to think about it. An emergency fund is basically a financial shock absorber. Life is unpredictable. Cars break down, jobs get unstable, medical bills show up out of nowhere. None of that is pessimism, it's just reality. And when those moments hit, you need cash sitting somewhere safe and accessible, not tied up in investments that might be down in value at that exact moment. A good general guideline that many financial experts talk about is having somewhere around 3 to 6 months of your essential living expenses saved in cash before you start investing seriously. Now, that number can feel intimidating at first, especially if you're just starting out, and that's okay. This isn't about hitting that number overnight. It's about understanding why it matters and working toward it steadily. Let's make this practical. Say your essential monthly expenses, rent, groceries, utilities, transportation, add up to around $2,000. That means a starting emergency fund goal might be somewhere between $6,000 and $12,000. Sounds like a lot, right? But here's the shift in thinking that changes everything. You don't need to save it all before you start. Even having 1 month of expenses set aside puts you in a completely different position than having nothing at all. Here's why this step protects your investing journey specifically. When you don't have this cushion, every unexpected expense becomes an investing emergency. You end up pulling money out at random, unplanned times. And those times are rarely convenient for your portfolio. Selling investments simply because life threw you a curveball is one of the most common ways beginners accidentally turn a temporary dip into a permanent loss. Think of your emergency fund as the foundation of a house, and your investments as the rooms you build on top of it. You wouldn't build the second floor before the foundation is solid, because the whole thing becomes unstable. Investing works the same way. This foundation is what lets your investments actually grow undisturbed, because you're not forced to touch them out of panic or necessity. So before you get excited about opening that investing app, take an honest look at your savings first. Where does your emergency fund currently stand? Even small, consistent steps toward that cushion now will make every investing decision you make afterward feel calmer, safer, and far more strategic. Here's a question that trips up almost every beginner. If two people invest the exact same amount of money into the exact same stock, why does one of them sleep just fine at night, while the other one checks their phone every 20 minutes in a panic? The answer has nothing to do with the investment itself. It has everything to do with something most people never stop to think about: risk tolerance. Let's clear something up first, because this is where a lot of confusion starts. Risk isn't some optional feature you can switch off if you just pick the right investment. Every single type of investment carries some level of risk. Even the safest options aren't completely risk-free. They just trade one kind of risk for another. So the real question was never, how do I avoid risk completely? The real question is, how much risk can I actually handle, both financially and emotionally, without making a decision I'll regret? Let me give you a picture of what this looks like in real life. Imagine two co-workers, Dana and Priya, both invest $1,000 into the same fund. The market dips 10% the following month. Dana glances at it, shrugs, and says, "This happens sometimes, I'll leave it alone." Priya, on the other hand, can't stop thinking about it, feels sick to her stomach, and ends up selling at the loss just to make the anxiety stop. Same investment, same dip. Completely different outcomes, because their risk tolerance was different from the start. This matters so much because your emotions are actually part of your financial strategy, whether you plan for that or not. If an investment keeps you up at night, it doesn't matter how good it looks on paper. It's not the right fit for you right now. Investing isn't just a math problem, it's a psychology problem too. So how do you actually figure out your risk tolerance? Start by asking yourself a simple, honest question. If my investment dropped 20% tomorrow, what would I do? Would you feel okay knowing it's likely temporary? Or would you feel panicked enough to sell immediately? There's no right or wrong answer here. Just an honest one. Your answer depends on things like your timeline, how stable your income is, and simply your personality when it comes to uncertainty. Here's something worth remembering too. Your risk tolerance isn't fixed forever. It naturally shifts as your life changes. Someone in their 20s with decades until retirement can often afford to take on more short-term ups and downs. Someone closer to retirement usually leans toward more stability, because they have less time to recover from a downturn. The real takeaway here is this: don't just copy what your friend, coworker, or some influencer online is doing with their money. Their risk tolerance was built for their life, not yours. Take the time to understand your own comfort level first. Because the most successful long-term investors aren't the ones who took the biggest risks. They're the ones who chose investments they could actually stick with calmly through both the ups and the downs. Let me tell you about a guy named Jordan who heard about a company everyone online was calling the next big thing. He got excited, pulled together $4,000, and put every single cent of it into that one stock. For a few weeks, it actually went up, and Jordan felt like a genius. Then the company had some bad news. The stock dropped nearly 60%, and just like that, a huge chunk of his savings disappeared. Jordan didn't lose because investing is bad. He lost because he broke one of the most important rules in building wealth. He put all his eggs in one basket. This brings us to something that sounds simple, but genuinely saves people from devastating losses: diversification. Here's the easiest way to understand it. Diversification just means spreading your money across different investments instead of dumping it all into one place. Think about it like this. If you only grow one type of crop on your farm and a single disease wipes it out, you lose everything. But if you grow several different crops and one gets affected, you still have the others to fall back on. Your money works the same way. Let's make this practical. Instead of putting all your money into one single stock, many investors choose to spread their money across different companies, different industries, and sometimes even different types of assets altogether. So if one company or industry goes through a rough patch, it doesn't take your entire financial future down with it. One part of your portfolio might be having a tough month while another part is doing just fine, and that balance is what keeps things steady. This is exactly why so many beginners get introduced to something like index funds or diversified funds early on. Instead of trying to guess which single company will perform best, these funds spread your money across dozens or even hundreds of companies at once. It's like buying a small slice of an entire industry instead of betting everything on one player. Now here's an important mindset shift, and it's one that trips people up constantly. Diversification isn't about chasing the highest possible reward. It's about protecting yourself from the full impact of being wrong. And here's the truth nobody likes to admit. Everyone gets an investment wrong at some point. Even experienced investors don't have a perfect track record. The difference is, when you're diversified, being wrong about one investment doesn't wipe out everything you've built. Think back to Jordan for a second. If he had spread that same $4,000 across several different companies or a diversified fund instead of just one stock, that same bad news story would have only affected a small slice of his money, not the entire amount. So here's what I want you to take from this. Before you invest, take a look at where your money is actually going. Is it spread out, or is it all riding on one single company or one hot tip you heard somewhere? Diversification won't make investing risk-free. Nothing can promise that, but it's one of the simplest, smartest habits that helps protect your money while it grows over time. Here's a question I want you to sit with for a second. If there were a way to reliably predict exactly when the market would hit its lowest point and exactly when it would hit its highest point, don't you think every single professional investor on the planet would already be using it? The fact that nobody has cracked that code should tell you something important. And yet, so many beginners still fall into the same trap of trying to do exactly that. This brings us to one of the most repeated lessons in investing, and it's one that even experienced professionals remind themselves of constantly. Time in the market matters far more than timing the market. Let me explain what that actually means, because it trips people up a lot. Timing the market means trying to guess the perfect moment to buy low and the perfect moment to sell high. It sounds smart in theory. In practice, it's incredibly difficult to do consistently, even for people who study markets professionally for a living. Time in the market means something completely different. It means staying invested steadily over a long period, rather than jumping in and out based on guesses or emotions. Here's a simple story to picture this. Imagine two people, Alex and Jamie, both want to invest the same amount of money over several years. Alex keeps waiting for the perfect moment to invest, watching the news, waiting for prices to drop just a little more, hesitating every time things look uncertain. Months turn into years, and Alex is still sitting on the sidelines, waiting for a perfect entry point that never feels quite right. Jamie, on the other hand, decides to invest a set amount consistently, regardless of what the market is doing that week. Some months the market is up, some months it's down, but Jamie keeps going steadily. Over time, Jamie's consistency puts them in a completely different position than Alex's hesitation. This is exactly why so many beginners get introduced early on to the idea of investing small, regular amounts over time instead of trying to guess the right moment to invest a lump sum. This approach helps smooth out the natural ups and downs of the market because you're buying at different price points along the way instead of betting everything on one single moment. Here's the mindset shift that makes this click for a lot of people. The market naturally goes through cycles of ups and downs. That's completely normal and expected. Trying to dodge every dip and catch every peak isn't realistic, even for experienced investors. What tends to matter more over long stretches of time is simply staying consistently invested and giving your money the time it needs to work through those natural cycles. So instead of asking yourself, "Is right now the perfect time to invest?" a question that honestly doesn't have a reliable answer, try asking a more useful question instead. Am I investing consistently in a way that fits my goals and my comfort level? That shift, from chasing perfect timing to building steady habits, is often what quietly separates people who stay stuck on the sidelines from people who actually make progress over the years. Here's something most beginners never think to check, and it quietly costs them more than almost anything else on this list. What if the biggest threat to your investments isn't a market crash, but something so small you barely notice it happening every single year? That's exactly what fees can do. They're quiet, they're easy to overlook, and that's precisely what makes them so dangerous. Let's break this down simply. Whenever you invest, whether it's through a fund, a platform, or a financial advisor, there are usually some kind of fees involved. Sometimes it's a small percentage charged annually to manage a fund. Sometimes it's a trading fee every time you buy or sell. Sometimes it's an advisory fee for someone managing your investments on your behalf. On their own, these fees often look tiny, sometimes less than 1 or 2%, and that's exactly why people brush past them without a second thought. But here's the part that surprises most beginners. Small percentages, repeated year after year, on money that's supposed to be growing over decades, can add up to a surprisingly large amount over time. This is because fees don't just take a bite out of your money once. They take a bite out of your money every single year, including the portion that would have otherwise stayed invested and continued growing. Over a long enough timeline, that difference becomes far more significant than most people expect. Let's use a simple picture to make this real. Imagine two friends, Tara and Liam, each invest the same amount of money into similar investments, growing at a similar pace over many years. The only difference is the fees they're paying. Tara's investment has noticeably higher yearly fees than Liam's. Even though they started with the same amount and experienced similar growth, Liam ends up with meaningfully more money down the road, simply because less of his growth was being quietly chipped away each year. Same starting point, same growth pattern, different outcome, all because of fees. This is exactly why understanding fees isn't some advanced, complicated topic reserved for finance professionals. It's a basic habit every beginner should build from day one. Before investing in anything, take a moment to check what you're actually being charged. Look at the fund's expense ratio if you're investing in a fund. Ask an advisor directly what their fees are and how they're calculated. Check if your investing platform charges fees for trades, transfers, or account maintenance. Here's the mindset shift that makes this click. You wouldn't walk into a store and hand over your money without knowing the price of what you're buying. Investing deserves that same level of awareness. Fees aren't something to fear, and they're not automatically a bad thing either, since many services and funds genuinely provide value for what they charge. The real goal isn't to avoid fees completely. It's to know exactly what you're paying and make sure it genuinely makes sense for what you're getting in return. So before you commit your money anywhere, take 5 extra minutes to actually read the fine print. That small habit, done consistently over the years, quietly protects far more of your money than most people ever realize. Here's the truth. Nobody becomes a smart investor overnight, and you don't need to either. You just need to start with the right foundation, stay consistent, and keep learning as you go. That's it. That's the whole game. So take what you learned today, apply it one step at a time, and trust the process. Because real wealth isn't built in a day. It's built by people who simply didn't quit. You've got this. I'll see you in the next one.